Okay. Let's call the October 21st Eastside School District School Board meeting. Call to order. Like everybody is here, let's please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Flag in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty, welcome everybody. We're gonna hear. Did everyone review the consent agenda?
Yes. I've reviewed.
Agenda review.
Yes.
Oh, agenda review. And then we have, are we adding something?
Yeah, we have a request to add the approval of Zach Sweet as a high school robotics volunteer coach. And you'll see the attachment there under 2.1.
Okay. And this is the one, so we need to approve to
add this.
add this to the consent agenda.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
make a motion to add this addition to the consent agenda, for Zach Sweet as the high school robotics volunteer coach.
Second. Right, a motion has been made and seconded to add the addition of Zach Sweet as a high school robotics volunteer coach to the consent agenda. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, report student business. Ella is a busy bee at a cross-country meet today, so she is not here. But she sent all of you, sorry, I'm trying to adjust.
Sorry, I have to be there.
I'm not.
It's responding.
It's huh?
It's
I
responding.
know, but I like this song. I just have to switch it. Anyway, Ella sent an email to everybody showing all the fun homecoming thing this week. High schoolers are busy. Dress up days, sporting events, fun activities. So they're all on social media places too, if you want to look at. But they're super fun. Tonight is powder puff, I believe.
Oh.
And
Fun.
soccer, boys soccer is playing right now. We're doing well. Okay, Tony.
Hello, everyone. So we have hired a new payroll specialist, Deborah Hoyt. Deborah brings over 30 years of accounting experience. She is awesome. She's enthusiastic about supporting everyone, and she wants everybody to know that she looks forward to making payroll a smooth and positive experience for everyone.
Right.
Which is great. The county tax assessor published their tax data for 25-26. The tax for our district is 20.1 million for the permanent rate, 2.3 million for the local option levy, and 5.7 million for the bond rate. And the budgeted amount for the permanent rate is 4% less to account for the discounts and non-payments.
So how does that compare to budget? Was that a surprise, good or bad?
Not a surprise. No.
Just right in line?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any questions for Tony?
Hey, well, okay, does this talk about all of the, I would love to see, I don't know how useful it is for me, when it says it's like we're 1% of our remaining, we spent 1%. So it'd be helpful, like I just asked you, $21 million, that's meaningful, if it's on track or not, just give us a sense. Cause I really would like to get a better idea where you're planning to end this year.
Sure.
And last time we were off quite a ways. I just want to get a sense for that. So whenever you see an expense high or low, especially the state $20 million, it just let us know, is that, again, is it slightly above or slightly below, or any movement on that kind of number is big. But I just want to see where we're going rather than this, because we're a quarter through the year and some of these things are just, just the timing. I know it's there. So as long as your projections are good, I just want to know when those projections feel like they're not good.
Okay.
That's for revenue and expense.
Yeah.
For revenue and
Yes,
expenses.
yes. I think the expenditures one would be much easier.
Mhm.
So you know that burn rate, right?
right, because we do and we do
Monthly,
incur.
that's a monthly burn. How is the revenue allocated then? Is that gonna be a quarterly? Cause you know, the budgeted that, here's the actual revenue.
Right,
There are those quarterly milestones or
Mhm.
I would guess when those allocated.
so, July and August, of course, is accrued back to the previous year, so we don't really see anything. Movement in that area until we get our November big check.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
like December or November, somewhere in there, we should expect this big chunk to roll in
Mid-November.
mid-November.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Usually if somebody has a mortgage companies like to pay all of the bills by the 17th, which is the discount rate of 3% this year. So,
Great.
yeah.
Let's see here.
Is there anything else?
No, just, I'm looking for that year-end sort of target, so just,
Oh,
we can
okay.
talk about that later.
Sure.
Yeah.
We eliminated the purchase by purchase list that we used to get, right?
Like everything,
like
little.
yeah.
Check.
Detail, yeah.
Sign for that? Didn't we used to sign for that or something?
Yeah, and there was no requirement for us to
Okay.
do that. It was just kind of a practice that was put in place. And the board, voted to have these expenditure by object and, and the other two, yeah, these other, and expenditure by function as opposed to those reports. They found it more meaningful. We switched that a couple years ago.
Like it was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that part. I was just, as I was looking through these reports, I was wondering if there was a happy medium to like understand what those monies are falling into, I guess, cause like understanding like just these pots of money was like, okay. I guess, same, like,
Well,
is it falling?
You-
How detailed would you want it though?
Not, right? I mean, that was really detailed.
There was it was every
It was
expenditure,
every single.
every single.
Yeah, so.
We bought
board
pencils,
gets
we
the
sell.
appointments, We could
Yeah.
drop them onto the floor for, but that'd be a ton of work.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
don't
like, what
know.
level you want?
Yeah.
What's your signing authority, Susan?
Well, I'd recommend that, that we talk in the board committee with Kat and Jason you know, which is the financial board advisory committee to kind of review those two reports and be able to, you know, talk about if this is what you need or if there's some other reports. We did share a couple years ago some other examples, so I can bring those forward and see if you have some recommendations on that.
I remember my question, timber revenues, any updates on that? How's that going?
I don't have really an update on that. They don't have any new projections, so.
Was it just, you had a somewhat of a guess for what you're thinking, or was it just, you have,
I'm not expecting a whole lot of timber revenue, just because of the
changes?
where they
Yeah,
were.
right.
Yeah.
And in the budget, you didn't expect a bunch, right? Okay,
No.
good.
And what time of year do we usually get those updates?
So I should know more in a couple months.
Okay, thanks, Tony. Susan.
All right, Kyle, can you project the superintendent's report here? I have a brief report because I'm talking to you about other things outside. So first of all, on the 29th of last month, Sandra and Kat attended the OSBA Fall Regional Meeting in Astoria. So thank you so much for attending. Every year OSBA does these regional meetings to really talk about the latest legislative activity. And it also gives gives board members a really good time to meet other board members in our region. So there was also a training beforehand for board members. So that was a good time by all, right? I also wanted to take an opportunity to give, next slide, Kyle, please. Give an update on some federal and state funding. We are in the fourth week of the federal shutdown. The good news is that there haven't been disruptions in federally funded education programs in Oregon at this time, because the federal funding comes to the state to be dispersed to us. So, so that's good news. Most US Department of Education staff have been furloughed. It will be interesting to see. It's hard to get in contact with the US Department of Ed. So we'll see how that kind of rolls out. The only, normally we get reimbursed for funding, quarterly, so, you know, every 3 months. The only difference we've seen there is, in the federal nutrition funding, which has been reduced to a 1-month reimbursement instead of 3 months. So we're just gonna be keeping a watchful eye on that.
Is that just a timing thing versus a dollar thing? Did they reduce the dollars too, or is it just?
Not yet. You know, we'll be watching that. You know, as we all know, we put the extra funding in our reserves in case any of these programs were to end mid-year. So I'm just trying to keep you posted. I did want to share a little bit about some potential statewide budget reductions. This is pretty common information that the state of Oregon has put out, so I just wanted to make sure that you had the information. The Legislative Fiscal Office, as you all know, in education, there's a lot of acronyms here. So, also known as the LFO, on October 1st, requested but a budget reduction planning from all state agencies. Of course, that includes Oregon Department of Education. So the purpose of that is to provide options for the legislature to include in the 2026 season, which is the short session that's coming up starting in February. So the timeline for that is pretty tight. We've already passed where on October 17th, the drafts from the different departments throughout the state needed to provide that. So on the final options are due to the Legislative Fiscal Office on November 3rd. Then there's this period in November, a couple days, where there's presentations to the legislature on reduction scenarios. And then that information is kind of in a holding pattern where in February 2026, the legislature will consider what they call statewide rebalancing decisions. Now, what does that mean for our district? Well, the state is really looking at it, as well as Oregon Department of Education, in really 4 buckets. They're really looking at it in the state school fund, which we're not in. We're one of the 4 districts of the 197 districts in the state that's not in the state school fund, which is the way most districts receive their funding, because our property taxes are higher than that formula. So that wouldn't affect us if the state school fund is reduced. That being said, many of our grants that we receive, like our high school success, which funds the majority of our CTE programs, the student investment account, which funds a lot of our positions, our intervention programs, some of our counseling programs, some of our TOSA positions are all funded with the CAT tax, corporate activity tax, which is the tax that businesses pay to fund education. So I'm not saying this for people to get nervous, but I'm saying that they are going through this process. After February, we'll know a little bit more about that. So it will, I mean, that'll hit when, you know, we're in the budgeting process. And if there are reductions, I think they would be 5% or less. That's what they've told us. So just for your information, I'm glad they're starting this process early. There we go.
Great. Any questions on that? All right, Susan, you're up again.
I'm up again for the enrollment report. Kyle, if you can put that up there every year, on October 1st is when we, other one. Thank you. The first one. Yes, thank you. You also have this, in your attachment, board members, but I wanted that up there so that the public can see that. Every year, on October 1st is when we have our official enrollment report. The reason that we wait until October 1st is there are some students who register with us and don't come to school, or it's after the 10-day required drop if students don't end up attending our schools. So as you can see, our numbers are pretty stable. We have this broken down into Pacific Ridge Elementary for a total of 588 students. And then we have the middle school there, 340. The high school at 496 for a total of 424 students. We do count the Cannon Beach students in there at 34 because they are our students. We do sponsor Cannon Beach as a charter school. We do add our pre-K students, even though they are not counted by the state, but because they are our students, we include them. We do also like to put our average class size down there for our elementary. It's really nice to see that we've been able to keep our class sizes low. So I also wanted to, if on the next slide, Kyle, I wanted to take a little look at the last 7 years to see how much variation we have. So in 2019, we had 1,576 students in our district. That was pre-COVID. In 2020, 1,486. In 2021, 1,479, and that's when our preschool started. And in preschool, we average anywhere from 29 to 31 students.
So the prior two did not include what were included with the new 29 students.
That's correct.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha.
2022, 1,473 students. 2023, 1,458 students. 2024, 1,470 students. 2025, 1,458 students. So you can see we have not gotten back up to the 1,576 in 2019. While it's varied a little bit over the years, we're within about 120 students that we've lost. Pretty common. There are other districts who lost a lot more than that. And it doesn't affect our funding. The districts that are in the state school fund, it does affect their funding. Some school districts, when it does affect their funding, they've added an online school to try to recoup enrollment. But once again, that doesn't, that wouldn't affect our district. So talked with Leslie today, and she has enrollment data through all the way back to 1996.
99, I think.
99, okay. So I will, I'll share that with you at a later date, but I just thought I'd share
Yeah.
7 years tonight.
I feel like even when I was here in like 16, 17, 18, it was about 14, 15.
It's been pretty, with 2019 being the highest year here, it's gonna be interesting to look at, 1999 and see if we're seeing kind of that 100, 120 student variation. Yeah, but overall, enrollment's pretty consistent.
When I graduated, we were at 100 students. So it's pretty, and I remember talking to another
Mhm.
Doug Barker, and he was saying, oh yeah, we had 100 kids in my class too in 1965. So it's always been,
Yeah. But these
it
lower,
always seemed to be about that.
the lower grades right now are, first grade 75.
Things are changing though.
Yeah.
There's more kids out of the public school system. There's another school opening in Astoria. I got a letter on that the other day. But so things are changing. There's more at homes. I mean, because I just looked up, we've grown 14% from 2010 to 2020, Clatsop County. So that's a little growth, 1 or 2%. But our student population is completely flat. So there's something else. And I think that may be it. And I'm sure there's a lot of conversation. So how do we, let's kind of give me your 2 cents on what do you think these trends or whatever they are.
I think there's more options for people than there used to be. I think, with as many online schools as there are, and I just think, for many years there wasn't the choice.
Is there any way we can coordinate and and try to get some coordination with the public schools with these? It's almost, I don't know what you want to call it, but so we don't lose those students, my thought.
It's conversations that we have as a county that I have with the other 4 superintendents. Like I said, overall, we're losing fewer students than a lot of districts. But there are ongoing conversations.
Yeah, I think if we looked at a trend, it would be alarming. I think it's gone up a lot the last since COVID probably, but maybe just before that.
Yeah, I've read that nationwide,
Yeah,
we haven't captured all the students back after COVID.
right.
They weren't in school,
Yeah, we let them work from home, now we get them back in the office. It's kind of the similar
Same
thing.
thing.
Maybe there's a middle ground. I don't know, just.
Yeah, and one thing that's on my list to do is to also, talk with the county and, there's certain too about, birth rates and some information too, that would be interesting to look at.
Yeah,
I would just add that, each student is an individual student
Yes,
and learns in their own ways. And
absolutely.
sometimes these alternative programs are where they're thriving.
right,
You know,
right.
so I think
Absolutely.
it's great that there's choice and different places where students can thrive.
I totally agree with you. And so with that, I just think it'd be great if we could capture here at the school somehow.
Well, it would be interesting to
Yeah.
see if the Clatsop County population is growing.
Yeah, I
with
could-
kids. But is
Yeah,
it,
right,
or is it
right.
people moving here that are retired and
Yeah.
are empty nesters at this point?
I'll look into it.
So the county's growing, but are the kids?
ChatGPT and I'll
Yeah,
spend.
you guys-
Yeah,
There's a
are
community
the
assessment out
students
there.
out there that we aren't enrolling,
Yeah,
or are they just not there?
right.
Right?
Yeah, that's an important question to answer.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Advisory committee, Sandra and Brian,
All right.
are you ready?
Can we go first?
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Okay, so we met yesterday, for our committee and also for the, Seaside Education Foundation.
Can you just remind everybody what committee you're?
We,
Sorry, I should have said that.
we're in the advisory committee. No,
Community
the
Student
student-
stakeholder relations, sorry, I should have left.
And I
that.
knew that, yes, okay.
Community stakeholder relations.
Okay, so Community Stakeholder Relations Committee. And we meet to discuss building more community, getting ourselves out there, presenting ourselves and building that relationship with the community and finding ways to do that. We are also supporting the Seaside Education Foundation as advisors. They have been formed and we are super grateful and just very lucky to have such a great and experienced group of people on this foundation. Their experience in organizing, in arts, in graphic design is pretty priceless, and all that they are bringing to this board. I can't even say enough good things about it. They're leaders and they're doing an amazing job. So we're super excited about, that foundation forming and, where we're gonna go with that. Of course, we also want to push that, one of our first goals is to build the Performing Arts Center. And so we're really, pushing ourselves and, making sure that we're supporting that, group of people to make that happen. So we're excited about that.
We're also working towards a community engagement event. We have a few more meetings to talk about, but we're kind of eyeing the springtime to get our community members up here to the school to show them what we built up here and do some things up here, possible activities, talk about different things that we're doing here at the school. So that was one other thing that we met about. That's to fulfill, and that's also one of our goals as a school board. So we're kind of fulfilling that goal also. So there's great meeting, and that the Seaside Education Foundation, like Sandra said, good leadership. They're moving forward with forming this board, getting the bylaws taken care of, getting all the nitty gritty taken care of, so then they can really start moving forward to raise money for our kids. So that's the main goal for this is raising money for our students.
So just thinking about the bond levy, what is that going to vote? When does that
The
happen?
bond
The bond?
levy? You mean the?
Or
oh,
the
you mean
renewal?
local option.
The local option. When is that?
Yep, we are.
It's in the agenda. We're
No,
gonna-
I'm sure. I just want to know time wise. Would we
May.
have time to do? Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Before.
Any questions for Brian or Sandra? Okay, you're up and down.
Okay.
Yes, Susan. For the division one
So,
standards report.
so there's two documents in here. The first one, is just a required document by the Oregon Department of Ed that will be posted on our website. But, if you're welcome to follow along in the slides, which thank you, Kyle, for putting this up. So, Division 22 Standards Assurance is a requirement by the Oregon Department of Education. And, it is a set of standards. If you can go to the next slide, Kyle, thank you. So, there we go. So what are the Division 22 standards? They're standards for public education in secondary schools. And they are Oregon administrative rules that are put out to make sure that all school districts are in compliance with these rules. So next slide. So there are over 50 rules. They prioritize student success, and they really focus on 5 areas: high quality learning experiences, aligned and focused education systems, engaged partners and communities, safe and inclusive schools, and committed and supportive staff. Next slide. Okay, so there is really a combination of a state accountability and local accountability. So the local accountability is that it is my job to make sure when working with the building leaders that we follow all of the assurances and that these assurances are reported to you during a school board meeting no later than November 1st. So we always do this during the October board meeting. And the second form that you see in your packet is the report that is posted on our website by November 1st. So once again, once this is, you do not need to take action on this, but that the report needs to be presented in a public meeting. And then I submit the assurances to Oregon Department of Ed no later than November 15th. Next slide. Okay, so the why around this is of course, signaling to the community that we follow all these requirements. And that we can assure that, if a district is not in compliance with any of these, that there is a plan to make sure that it moves forward towards compliance. Next. Okay, once again, if a district is not in compliance, then a district has a fairly short period of time to show their plan of action to get in compliance. An example of that would be a curriculum needs to be updated and adopted every 7 years. If a district wasn't financially able to do that, they would be out of compliance, and they would need to show a plan for how they would save for that and put it into adopt that new curriculum within a time that they were able to do that. Next.
I
Okay,
find it interesting that if then they can't do that, the state will then cut their money, so it's even harder. for
Can't do
them to do it. I realize it's a negative to get them to do it, but it comes across kind of odd.
yeah,
Dicks on kids.
it is, it is. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so there are some waivers that that you've seen before that continue on. For many years, we had an essential skills requirement for graduation. And those were some specific tests in reading and math and writing that that continue to be waived through 2027 and 8. That remains in effect. We do have other methods that are embedded into our curriculum for students to meet this requirement, but this was a separate requirement above and beyond what we were already doing. There's also the essential skills assessment for English language learners. This related policy has also been waived through 27, 28, once again, do through our ELPA testing. Next one, there is a rules revision in effect for this last year. And I guess let me back up and say, whenever I present this, it's for the previous year. So when I'm presenting this to you now, it's for the 24-25 school year, because right now we've only started this year. So I apologize for not sharing that earlier. So brand new to the 24-25 school year is that all districts have been required to have a planned K-12 instructional program for social emotional learning, also known as SEL, which we have already implemented. And then a planned 9-12 instructional program, which includes personal finance education and higher ed in career path skills, which we have already implemented as well.
Yay, I'm so glad you said that. I really am.
We're usually ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So some other rule revisions in effect for 24-25, which are some other diploma options. Districts must annually provide a modified diploma, an extended diploma, and a certificate of attendance. These are other options for students who are unable for various reasons to meet the regular diploma requirements. There's also districts are required to have a written plan for substance and use and prevention and intervention, which we already have in place as well. So the good news, Seaside School District's report is compliant in all the standards. We do not need to prepare, we're not out of compliance in anything, so we don't need to prepare any plans for intervention.
Great.
Looking ahead in 2025, 2026, this school year. Next slide. All districts are required to have Education Equity Advisory Committee, which we already have in place. That was required to be in place by September 15th of this year. And they already had their first meeting a month early in August. So we're already, we've already met twice. Some other revised rules is the SEED, the Student Educational Equity Development Survey. Districts are required to make sure that, their students participate in that survey, which we do. We need to add mention of the ELPA screener as a requirement in our testing. And we also need to add clarification, that districts abide by Oregon Department of Ed's decision regarding students' test records. So we have also implemented this, so. Educational leadership, administrative standards on the forefront, which must be implemented by September 30th, 2027, is to make sure that the administrator standards are updated through professional standards for educational leadership and how administrators are evaluated. So that's due in a couple of years.
You sure on it already?
I think that's the last slide, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Thank you. Any questions for Susan?
How do you stay ahead of, how does she ahead?
Well, I have a great administrative team and we just try to be working ahead all the time. So we're not up to the deadline on things. It's just something you kind of keep track. I mean, there's the one time you need to report it, but it's just working on it regularly.
And Chuck, you and I probably should go through this together because you could help me with it, but there's a lot in this report. And I understand you couldn't cover it all tonight, Susan, so thank you for the brevity, but just a lot of stuff in here that I think Chuck and I should get together and that's our committee, right?
I would be happy to.
Great.
I think I'd be familiar.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
If you want, if you want the light reading, Kevin, of the individual standards broken down in that first report, in the
Division
attachment
22
there.
standards report.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so in the 2024-25 Division 22 standards report, it breaks them down in individuals and it has the links there that explain each of them.
Okay, perfect.
So,
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't dug into all the attachments.
Well,
I didn't read through it.
Are those links dead for you though?
Let's see.
And I think,
if they're not live,
No,
we
they
can
do.
definitely send you the live ones.
They're not to be.
But so this is a self-assessment. Qualitative nature, so most of these are just yes, no, I guess.
It's actually three choices. There's in compliance, your status. There's in compliance, out of compliance with a plan, or just out of compliance without a plan.
Okay.
Mhm.
and basically these
I mean,
standards are not meant to,
These are the-
meant to set bar.
reports.
No,
This is the floor.
this is the floor.
Yeah, this is the basic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're exceeding
Yes.
Right.
all of this all the time.
Yeah,
This is where you start.
Yeah. Yeah, so out of compliance with this is
you got
a
problems.
problem.
Okay, thank you. Next up is academic progress report for Pacific Ridge. Julie, is that you? And Ellie and Josie. Yeah, and when you come from the audience to speak, if you could come to the table, that'd be great. It's mostly for the viewers at home. They want to see you too. The viewers at home. They want to see you and hear you. Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're excited to share our ebb report with you. So, Kyle, thanks for being the driver. We're ready. Yeah, excited. Can you do it? Okay, all right. So we always like to start with learning targets. So our learning targets for y'all tonight are that you understand the SSD's strategic plan. So our strategic plan as it relates to Pacific Ridge. And that we are identifying Pacific Ridge student support as it relates to setting students on a successful path beyond graduation. And to learn how we are supporting students to become positive members in our community. So some demographics, who we are. As of today, we're 589. That's how many students we have preschool through fifth grade. Our staffing is we have 54 certified staff, 3 building administrators, Desiree Greats and Ellie Irish Jones. If you guys have met in previous board meetings. We have 40 educational assistants. That includes our special education staff, our preschool assistants, English language development, our ELD, librarians, intervention secretaries, kindergarten assistants, and building support staff. So about 100 staff down at demographics, our special programs, students who are qualified for special education is about 112 or 19% of our total population. 37 of those students are primarily speech and language. That's articulation is also considered special education. English language development, so our students that are learning English as their second language. We have 106 students currently in ELD classes, and we have 20 students that are on monitor status. That means that they don't attend ELD classes 4 days a week, but we do monitor their progress. They have graduated from our ELD program. So that's about 23% of our total.
What was the last bullet?
Sorry, no worries. She was sorry. Okay, we're getting excited here. So that's 134 students or 23% of our total. And then McKinney-Vento is our families experiencing houselessness. So that's about 11 students or 2% of our population. And now we're gonna go over our strategic plan and where the Ridge plans in that.
Great picture, my goodness, that's just.
Not our school, but it's our school, because it's the district, right?
Yeah.
Up on the hill, you guys have such a beautiful view. We've got some really nice trails. So goal number 1, on the strategic plan is that all students will be on track to graduate with a plan beyond high school. So what that looks like at Pacific Ridge is all students will meet their math and literacy targets. And of course, we're looking at all students, but in regards to the strategic plan, we're looking specifically at 3rd grade students. The touch points for the strategic plan are 3rd grade, 6th grade and 9th grade. So we're just going to focus on 3rd grade students today. I have all the data for preschool through 5th grade if you want to see that, but
Your goal's 100%.
well, of course, we want everyone to meet, but we'll talk more about that, Kevin.
We're not there yet.
We're not there
That's
yet.
insane.
So that is measured in our 3rd grade STAR and state math assessments and our 3rd grade STAR and state reading assessments. And this is a cute picture of our high school graduates from last year. My son's in there somewhere. It's so exciting.
I love it.
And every year, I don't know how many years we've been doing this, but several, the high school graduates come down and they do a walk through after they've done our practice with you all. And all of our students make signs for them and they do that. We clap them around the school, and every student, we make sure every high school graduate gets a sign with their name on it, so they see their name. And it's a really great thing for our students to see and for the graduates to see and experience. So as you know, we've talked a lot about Marzano. The most important thing in the classroom is the teacher. So this is just that data and research. So in classrooms headed by teachers characterized as most effective, students posted achievement gains of 53 percentage points over the course of one academic year, whereas in classrooms led by least effective teachers, student achievement gains averaged 40 percentage points. So we know the most important factor in the classroom is our teachers. So going with that, we continue our growth through professional development. We're focused on Marzano professional development for our teachers and our support staff, our instructional assistants, because we have 40 of those at Pacific Ridge, and they play a really important part of our students' instructional day as well. And so we're focused on instructional strategies. We have individual coaching for our teachers from our instructional coach, Miss Ashley Ruffles, who's in the back here. Hey, Ashley. And then this year we are implementing learning walks. So our goal is 3 per trimester for teachers to go into other classrooms and see what their colleagues are doing and learn from that. And then we also do 3 rounds of instructional rounds for our teacher teams per year, as well as we are implementing conscious discipline training for all of our classified staff, which is our educational assistants. All right, so how are we supporting all students, 100% of students to meet their literacy targets? So our core ELA instruction is Wonders. So this is our third year of implementation of our English language arts curriculum. And the most important thing is that core instruction, that our core instruction is solid and we're meeting at least 80% of our students' needs in that core instruction. We have alignment of standards and curriculum at all grade levels through our collaborative unit mapping that our teachers have done. And in 2021, we implemented WIN, which is What I Need, intervention and enrichment for all of our students K-5 in the area of reading. And that's 30 minutes a day, 4 days per week at their level, either enrichment or intervention. So it's made a difference. These are our third graders last year, so they're fourth graders this year, but this is actually them as first graders, as second graders and as third graders. So it follows the same students, not a different group of students each year. So as first graders, you can see, I don't know if you can circle the number of students.
Yeah.
So like, look at.
No.
Interesting. Well, by the dancing puppet, who's so cute, by the way. You could see that there's 10 students that took that test in first grade. And the reason why only 10 students took the test in first grade is in kindergarten and first grade, we have early literacy. And so, and then in second grade, first or second grade, the students transition to our STAR reading test. And so if they can't yet take, they haven't got a score high enough to take STAR reading, they're still taking early literacy. So at first grade in 22-23, we had 10 students that were able to take STAR reading and everyone else is taking STAR literacy. Then in second grade, 75 students out of the total were able to take STAR reading. And you can see that we're at 64% at or above the 40th percentile, which is where we want to be. And then last year, 24-25, at the end of the year, 81% of our third grade students, which was 97, all of them took the STAR reading test, and we're at 81%. So
Great.
that's really where we want to be. We want to be at 80% for the total. Of course, we want to be 100, but
Yeah.
80 is our goal. Is the goal.
80% above the 40th percentile.
80% of the students.
Okay, and then the 40th percentile is a baseline across
For at grade level or
at
above,
grade level
Mhm.
for state or for the
or third grade.
for third grade
Mhm.
state.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so can you go back to the previous slide?
This one?
So these are all the things you've done that you think have supported the improvement for that group of students
In reading.
in
Mhm.
reading.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just trying to use the right word.
Yes.
Because what we're getting ready to do, and I'm sorry, I skipped ahead, is we're gonna look at like the math side. But I just wanna anchor on, here's some of the things we did. Put some time, resources, time, people, resources, whatever we wanna say, towards this, and these are the results we got. Okay. All right,
Well, I guess alignment and standards would also be math,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Marzano is just good instruction,
Mhm.
all grades,
Mhm.
all, so, I mean, go back. It's just good for literacy and, except for ELA. Yeah. And when it's just reading.
okay,
Mhm.
so I guess like, that's what I wanna anchor on,
Yeah.
is what did you do to get those good results? Okay, like, and I wanna be very clear on that, because we have resources to put towards it, and we did, and you got some very good results out of that. But I wanna know what those are and call those out very specifically.
We are trying to for you.
Right.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay,
But I think
We are.
it's a good point is that some of this stuff you guys might just think, I've seen it 1,000 times, but we outsiders sometimes don't know exactly all the acronyms and such. And then how, yeah, good point. I mean, it's 80% above the 40 percentile, that sort of thing. So I see why you might want to have a higher goal there. And that's what I'm just trying to get a sense of. Yeah.
While we're backing up, can we go back one more?
Sure.
only about one.
Yeah. Where they started with this one, talking about these gains, it's with, and I didn't use Marzano per se, but you still have to do all those same things to be an effective teacher, whether it's defined as Marzano or you're doing them some other ways. But this, what they're talking about here is effective teachers get those gains.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. It's the people that are our main resource. And this just in case anybody's misread it, least effective teachers only get an average gain of 14. They're not implying that we have least effective teachers.
No.
That's Marzano's research explaining how you define a least effective teacher.
We're saying the
And why we're
most
doing
important
it.
factor is the teacher. Like, we can throw all the curriculum
Right.
at them, but if they're not applying those effective teaching strategies, like,
Yeah.
the gains
know,
aren't gonna be
Like
made.
Jason, I'm trying to recall, was like 450,000 per year for Marzano. Was that close? Do you remember? I don't remember them, but
don't
so
remember.
his point is like, so we spent 450, but we've seen this great improvement, so that was a good investment, you know, it's kind of. Did we spend 4 million or send, you know, I mean, the dollar and then the output is kind of the idea, I think, right?
Well,
so,
and I
yeah.
mean, to go back to
What we do.
what Chuck is saying is, you know, one of the best investments you can make is in your teachers to empower them to be the best teacher that they can be.
And I would go a step further. It's not just the teachers, but all of the personnel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is why we give PD to our instructional assistants as well. I mean,
Yeah,
they're also
absolutely.
delivering instruction in small
Yep.
groups. They're out on recess with those kiddos. Like, we
Right.
just need to
Yeah.
wrap bus drivers, everyone's. Yeah.
Does each,
Exactly.
does each teacher have a assistant?
No.
Okay.
K1, 2 during the reading block, yes. Kinder all day long, they have a full-time assistant, yeah, and then first and second grades, we have assistants that go in and support, so we can do small group instruction during the reading block.
Okay.
So most exciting is, I mean, for me, I don't know, I think it's really exciting, is for our English language arts state test data for third grade specifically. The state is at 41% passing, meeting or exceeding, and our school last year was at 51%.
Yay.
So we
That's
beat the
great.
state, which of course we wanted higher than
Always
51%, but 51% is pretty
We're going
pretty
up.
good. It's pretty amazing.
Mhm.
So kudos to our all of our staff and our third grade team, especially for making that happen. And then
So
back
we're
to
gonna
math.
talk about math.
Mhm.
So we have core math curriculum. We adopted iReady last year, so this is our second year in reading and using iReady. And we have alignment, teachers went and they really looked at the standards, they looked at the curriculum, and they developed unit maps to say, when are we teaching, what are we teaching, what's important. And they also use Freckle curriculum as small group intervention, so for students who are below grade level standards and getting that extra support.
And this picture is our math night. We do a math and literacy night every year, and they the favorite part is the students get to come and play math games with their teachers.
Families.
And then they get to take a free math game home to practice, and they get to take books home, so.
Are you getting a good turnout?
Yeah, oh yeah, we get a really good turnout. Teachers are like, the kids love it, to go play math games with my teacher. It's exciting.
And then when we look at our benchmark data, we use STAR, so lots of green, which is great. At the bottom, these are the same students, just same students as the ELA that Julie looked at. So first grade, they had 75% were at or above our target of 40 percentile range. And 85 students took it. And then, so in first grade, all this, it's the same test. So it's not gonna be like reading where it's an EL, like an early lit test, and then it's the same test for everybody. And then 60% went at or above. So remember, math changes. We got lots more concepts and things like that. It's not like just reading. It goes deeper, but with math, you get new things added on. And then in third grade, 65%, so they kind of jumped up. But what's really, any questions on this slide before I move?
And this is, again, we're
Because
looking
we're
for
gonna
80%.
look at
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're
we're
not
not an area of.
And I'd just like your opinion.
Yeah.
On it's interesting, you mentioned from first grade to second grade, there's all these new concepts, and it's a tough, there's some probably tougher than others.
Mhm.
How about second to third? Is that another?
Huge. I mean, adding and subtracting to multiplying.
Multiplication is a standard in third grade, so they should know how to multiply in third
By the
grade
end of the year.
fluently. And so that's kind of a big,
So it's a big jump.
big deal.
Good to know.
Okay,
And fractions and all sorts of things. I taught third grade for a long time, so I know third.
I don't wanna lose sight of like, the numbers are still, you know, like above the average, above the goal, da, 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 da.
Yep.
But we invested on the ELA side, like we invested, we saw a very good return on that investment. It progressed, right? Like, love that, more of that, like 100%. How do we not lose ground on the math side? Because if you are benchmarking against a percentile, then that's the same for everybody. Everybody gets harder,
Yeah.
right?
What I
So,
would say to that is, I've been here for 12 years in the district, and the first 10, we had the same math curriculum.
okay,
And we have a new math curriculum, which this is our second year of implementation, as we shared, and I think that's where we're gonna see the
Very
game. So we're in
rigorous.
year
Takes a
2,
while.
so
Okay.
we're gonna start, I'm really hopeful that with all of our Marzano work, and more than hopeful, like we're doing the work, right? And we also have the right curriculum, I think, to help us out, help our great teachers do good things.
Okay.
The other piece of our math curriculum that we have that we didn't have before, well, we had it, but it really didn't go down all the way down to kindergarten, it went down to 3rd grade, is we have a differentiated online component that goes with that. So our students get their instruction and then they can also go online at their grade level, and it's differentiated based on where they're at and where their holes are at. And we'll show you that data in a minute, but
Okay.
it's, I think that will be key. Like, that's gonna be the change. We kind of were doing the same thing for 10 years.
Yeah.
And we started working on reading, and now we're really focused on math. And so I'm hoping in 5 years, I'm gonna be like, look at what happened, Jason.
yeah, look, if you crop that at the bottom, right, and got rid of the first year, you'd have a 5% increase in it.
Yeah.
No one was asking
Great.
that question.
Yep.
I just wanna be very clear on like the discussion of, like resources and what do you need? And are you receiving it? And if you're not, that is the discussion, I think, for this group to show, look, like we're doing great, pedal down on reading, but the math piece, like we got some work to do and here's what we're doing about it.
I don't know if it was last year or the year before, there was talk at the convention, the OSBA convention, about more conversational math, more.
Yeah, that
Is
math
that something
dialogue.
you're seeing in
Numbers.
the curriculum?
Yes.
Yes.
What's really cool about this curriculum is it's embedded with great instruction strategies that are Marzano strategies too. Chuck mentioned like you kind of used Marzano without knowing it was Marzano because they overlap. It's just good instruction. And this curriculum, I was really excited to see just going, oh my gosh, if I would have had this, that would be so great. Cause it already does a number talk. It already does all those things. So it's just
The
making.
discourse of math is
Yeah,
really
yeah.
in that, and also it's teaching our kids to a lot more word problems.
numbers
And not
sets.
like number pluckers, like
Mhm.
just to be like, oh, like here's a number, what do I do with it? It's like,
Yeah.
what does this math problem actually asking me to do? What is it?
Yeah.
And that's that conversation is happening all the way down at the kindergarten level, so
Yeah.
at developmentally appropriate, of course.
So all of this stuff moves so slow, like the textbooks, 10 years, but AI is not. So what do you see in there, how that might impact instruction and math especially?
I don't, not yet, at the elementary, not in math specifically for us. I'd see my 5th graders, like they are kind of, the teachers are kind of helping them navigate that, but we're a little bit of a slower roll at the elementary, thankfully.
I've had the joy of being there the last 2 days and it is so fun. I love going there, bits and pieces, it's fun.
We like having.
Okay, moving on.
So this is the state test. So as you can see, we were a little bit above the state score of 40%. Yeah,
That's really good.
43, that's good.
Yeah.
We beat them, not as much as ELA, but we did still beat them in math. And also.
Yeah, the other piece, if you go back, like one of the, oh no, it's gonna be forward.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's
go
gonna be
ahead. It's gonna be
iReady.
forward.
Yeah, this
Go
one.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's really cool is this is the final diagnostic at the top. And then that was the first time they had take the iReady test. So iReady does a diagnostic 3 times a year. And they test all students, and diagnostic means it goes up, like it gets harder. If they can handle it and they're getting all the answers right, it's gonna go up and give you their actual grade level of where they are. And then, of course, it's gonna go down too, and then show you where their holes are and where their next step should be. And Julie kind of touched in on it, but then it's called My Path. That My Path says, okay, this is how they did on this test, so this is what their lesson's gonna be, because that's what they need. So it's kind of like digital what I need. For
They
math.
get the grade level lesson for the day, but then they get to work at their level where they're at math to fill those holes.
Mhm.
And what I will say is one of the exciting things about iReady is when we were doing our professional development, they're like, it's really aligned to the state standard, like you're
Mhm.
gonna be able to tell. And with STAR, I was always like, oh, is it? If we have 80% clearly of our kiddos that met that in STAR, but not 80% met in ELA, right? Still 51, that's great, but it wasn't closely aligned. But if you look at these kiddos, this is about 40%. It said 40% of our kids were on target based on iReady, and 43% met the state test. So it's more closely aligned, which is great for us to say like, okay,
You really
if we're
want-
looking at this,
It's
we know this-
foreshadowing of. how
these
it's gonna
kids should
feel.
be able to meet the
Yeah.
state
Mhm.
guideline. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Which tells me it's similar, more closely aligned to the
Mhm.
state test too. And then this is some things that we are using, so that's what the My Path looks like that we talked to you about. Teachers can also assign lessons in that, so if they're like, yes, we want you to do your path, but we also want you to do this lesson because we just learned it, or to review lessons. And then something new that we're using this year is Fluency Flight, for grades 2 through 5. So just like basic adding, subtracting, knowing their adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing facts fluently. And what's really fun is at the bottom are pictures of our teachers' boards of ways they are celebrating their students passing their lessons. And like the pumpkin, once they finish all their lessons with 80%, they, everybody gets a pumpkin square pumped in, and then that's Mrs. Flores. I don't know what she's gonna do with
Get to
it.
like color in a square.
She must do some
Yeah.
pumpkin party at the end or something,
And then they
right?
get to earn something.
And then there's a wheel, so a teacher has a wheel, and every time we fill it up, we're gonna spin the wheel and see what we land
And I
on.
think that class, they actually, once they filled it up, they got to have a game board day and
Oh, game board.
they each brought in a game board from home, which was kind of fun to spend like, 20 minutes to like play their game boards together, which I love, 'cause I'm a game board fan.
And in the middle, she tracks, every student has a clip, and she tracks how long they're spending on their lessons, because they want to do at least 45 minutes per week.
Mhm.
And so she wants to see them progressing, like, oh, you can move your clip up, and just showing that growth.
Okay, so goal number 2 would be that all students will develop the social and emotional skills to be positive community members. And a couple of ways we're kind of tracking this and assessing this is through our student surveys, through our social emotional learning curriculums, through attendance data, which we're meeting weekly as a tier 2 and 3 team for the attendance team, and then multiple positive behavior intervention and supports, which we call PBIS. So what you see here is part of our student panorama well-being survey. And so we wanted to focus on the social awareness piece for this presentation, with the goal that all students will develop the social and emotional skills to be positive contributing members to their community. So a couple of the questions we pulled to focus on from that survey, specifically the social awareness piece, is during the past 30 days, how much did you care about other people's feelings? 88% of our respondents or students answered they cared quite a bit or cared a tremendous amount. And then the social awareness piece, kind of like what they're being tested on, is how do they consider the perspective of others and how do they empathize with that? So the other question we pulled to focus on was during the past 30 days, how well did you get along with students who are different from you? And 80% responded they got along pretty well or got along extremely well with others.
And these are our 3rd through 5th graders that take this test.
And so the final question that we pulled was, during the past 30 days, how clearly were you able to describe your feelings? So we had 52% responded favorably, which meant they answered either quite clearly or extremely clearly. And we kind of pulled that because while it's a strong answer, it's an area of growth for us that we can improve and work on.
52%.
Yeah, what was the can't say the word, efficacy, what was that one? That was the low one on the previous one?
Oh, the very bottom
Yeah,
one.
the very bottom.
Mhm.
The only sad one.
So the reason we didn't really focus, we can later, but was because we were trying to pick one that related to our strategic plan. And so since our strategic plan was being positive members, like that is very important to be self-efficacy, we felt like social awareness related more to like being a positive community member.
Yeah, no,
There are
I,
multiple questions under it. We don't know off the top of our.
yeah,
We thought about grabbing that one,
Self-efficacy,
but it just didn't.
Yeah, we don't know exactly
they
what
just
the,
harness on themselves.
Do they not understand?
I
we're
don't,
like.
Right,
being
that's
for
what
help.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, do they have to understand?
Like knowing
Okay.
when to say, I
Advocate for
need,
yourself.
like, there's a
Okay.
problem.
got it.
Mhm, mhm.
I think that is just a general issue with a lot of.
Even
people.
adults have
Yeah,
a
I was gonna say
hard
that's
time.
more.
Yeah,
like-
except
Lifelong. But we're
that's the problem with
just-
the percentile is that
Yeah.
everybody has that problem, or everybody else. So,
Yeah.
Say that our counselors, they did dig, this was last year's survey, we haven't done it yet, but they dug deep and we were able to look at who like individually answered those questions so that they can kind of like check in and make groups
Yeah.
using the data and go, oh, this student would be perfect for, advocating for themselves, self-confidence groups and things like that.
And we would have loved to, like, if we had already taken the survey, be able to compare, like last year. to this
Mhm.
year. This is where we ended last year, so I don't know where we are. Maybe we're not at 52%. We also know it's really hard for our littles. We're working with like 3-year-olds to, 11-year-olds to identify their feelings. They can be like, he's mad, but like, I'm not mad,
Right.
but they're mad, they don't, it's hard for them to
Kids
look inward
understand.
sometimes and be like, oh, identify. So I think it makes sense that but we also work really hard at that. We teach zones of regulation. There's so many things that we do to try to help them identify how they're feeling, but they're still working through it. They, their brains aren't fully formed until they're like 25, so.
But they understand it's for school, if this is a question regarding their
Yeah.
experience at school,
Mhm.
gotcha.
Mhm.
So some next steps to support kind of the social emotional learning piece is continue to develop plans with our counselors of how teachers can use our Wayfinder curriculum. And then, as mentioned before, to continue to work on the conscious discipline side of things with our classified staff. And a lot of those interactions take place, at recess or lunch and unstructured environments. And so giving them the tools to tackle and model for students when they're not in such a structured environment is really important. So that's where we're at.
All right, attendance. So another big initiative and focus for us is attendance, which it always has been, but we're really doubling down and trying to increase our decrease our chronic absenteeism, I guess, and increase our regular attenders. So if you look at the data, in 2023, we were at 52%. We had dropped from the previous year. Oregon's average, you can kind of see it over off to the right of that little image, was 62%. In 2023, 2024, we were at 64%, and the average for Oregon was 66%. And last year we were at 66% and the Oregon average is 67%. So we're chasing that. Of course, we always want to be above. So some things that we're doing are, parent phone calls home, nudge letters. Nudge letters are, at conferences just last week, we gave every parent a graph and a letter about like, this is where your student is, this is where the rest of the students at specific grade, junior grade level are, to kind of, because we also know that the research shows that sometimes parents don't realize how much school their child is actually missing. They think, oh, they've only been absent a couple of days, but it's much more. So just bringing awareness to our families, meetings, student interviews to determine needs. We have bi-monthly SST meetings to kind of look at attendance and barriers, individualized attendance intervention plans for students. Do they need an alarm clock? Do they need an incentive plan? You're here for 3 days in a row. Now you get this thing. And then our school counselors support with community resources. But most of the time at the elementary level, it's not a student issue. It's a family issue because they're little, they're not waking themselves up to get to school. We also have implemented this year a tier 2, 3 and attendance team. And so that's got admin, our dean, counselors, secretaries. We meet weekly to review the attendance data, and we're focusing on 75% attendance and below. Well, some of the students that don't have 75, less than 75%. We made sure we prioritized those families at conferences to attend their conferences and chat with the families and try to see if there was some barriers that we could help with. And again, phone calls home or nudge letters,
conferences, referrals to care coordination, family surveys, and just building those relationships. How can we help? The picture to the right is, we had a little gift basket that we were able to get donated from Dutch Brothers, and we had surveys that we did of the families, we've got that data that we're gathering, so trying to figure out the why and how we can best support the families to be at school.
So you're gathering that data now, just seeing what the barriers are for the parents.
Oh, yes. And then we also are, we have a poster up at Pacific Ridge, and we are making so that students can see it. Here's where you're at for your grade level for regular attenders. And then we are giving out stickers each month for our students that attend 90% or better, and those go on their take-home folder. So every student at Pacific Ridge has a take-home folder that goes back and forth between home and so they got their September sticker if they had 90% or better, and this is what the October sticker will look like. That is drawn by a kindergarten student from last year. They're first grader this year, but how cute is that? So our hope is that it will be student, the picture will be student led, and they're going to create it. And a big thanks to Ashley Verholtz, she's been helping us with stickers and heading that up. And it is, I mean, believe it or not, it's really motivating for the littles to get a sticker. They're very excited to get that on their take folder.
90% is if you miss.
Less than 1 or 2 days, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
It's still a lot of days if they're.
It still is like 8, we're trying to get less than 8 days, right? Yeah,
That's still,
yeah.
18 per year.
Mhm.
That's that 80%.
Yeah.
that's still, I mean, that's a lot of.
What? So you rattled off a whole bunch of tools that you guys are using, like, what else is there? Like, what are the other? By the way, this is awesome. Let's be very clear. But like, what other tools are there that you guys know exist absent an Uber for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the extreme,
Mhm.
but what are the other tools that you aren't able to access right now that you?
There's things that we're not able to access. One other thing that we're doing that's positive that I didn't share is we are doing positive incentives for our classes that if they get 100% attendance, we have so we have big tickets for behavior. So if a student is or a class is caught, we have little tickets for students that are caught being safe, respectful, responsible. So if the student's walking safely in the hallway, we might give them a ticket and say, thank you for walking so safely in the hallway. And they get to enter those in for a drawing or collect them for a prize. And then we have big pink tickets for classes where if we catch a whole class walking safely or they're being respectful in assembly, we'll give them, this is your class, and they get to earn, maybe they're earning a free extra recess or some computer time or an art lesson, or so they kind of determine that with their class and how many pink tickets they need to earn. And so we added in attendance to that, the big tickets. So if their classes, everybody in their class is there, they get an attendance, a big attendance ticket, and then they're earning for that. So like, what do we get? If we get 10 of those, then we get this thing. So we really try to positively incentivize it. And then I guess the challenge, Jason, too, is like sometimes we don't know the why behind it.
Right.
So we have to dig down and we have to that's where our counselors come in to connect with those families. Like, what is the why for this student not coming to school? Is there a friendship issue? Is there something else that we just don't know about? I've had families reach out and can we just get an alarm clock? But we need like an actual alarm clock. Sure, we'll buy you an alarm clock. So if we know the barrier, we'll try to solve it. We can't always solve it. But we do our best.
Yeah, I don't put it on the third grader, and that's what I mean by like resources you need. I wanna like have some big asks there and make sure that we are supporting them. Like that I'm very curious about, whether it's additional staff, whether it's additional, resources for it, like whatever those tools are.
The other piece is we've implemented and asked our teachers to have a routine, a ritual, like a practice of like noticing when somebody's gone
Right.
and then welcoming them back when they come. Cause there's
Which
nothing
is
worse than
nice,
if you've like been gone and then you come back and nobody says like, oh, we missed you yesterday, right? So it's like, oh, like where were you? And so, or gosh, you missed yesterday and here's your packet of homework that you missed, right? Like that's not how they're welcome back. They're welcome
Right.
back. Like, we were so glad you're here now. And so because that is, we want them to want to be there. And if they want to be there, they're gonna be like, Mom, Dad, I don't wanna be there,
So
versus.
that is an incentive, even at that age, that is still a driver for attendance.
Cause if they don't wanna be there and they're kicking and screaming
Yeah.
out the door, it's a lot harder for some parents to get
I
them.
think
to
having
be
a
there.
good
place to go to if they love their school.
Right.
And they have like support and, they have the SEL program where they feel like they're heard, they're valued. And that's where this kind of is talking about, is that we do have SEL lessons, with our counselors, and that's a picture of Miss Martinez and Mr. Fountain in the top left. We're using our Wayfinder curriculum. We do bully prevention, Safe Oregon, Aaron's Law, small SEL groups. So I think the small SEL groups are more targeted. So looking at those kids, sometimes the counselors will pick kids who are absent a lot to do like lunch bunches to get them there, and that's helped. So they do programs like that. And then we just survey and decide what they need. And then the pictures at the bottom that's our mission control room, which is for the low sensory type of room. And then every space, that's Mr. Dealer's Peace Corner in the middle. Every space has a peace corner. So even if they're having a hard day, or they woke up late and they missed breakfast and whatever happened, that they have a safe place to go to. I think that's so important. And it does encourage attendance too.
I'm really glad you're having those individual meetings with students because, we can make all kinds of assumptions about why kids are not at school, but until we ask them directly, we're not going to know. And that's building that trust with kids. So I'm really glad.
And
you're
the
doing that.
families too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last picture is a space for students who need those big body movements, because we're not all, with sand. That's not enough for us. So just making sure that we provide everything that a student would need. And then these are our PBIS interventions and celebrations, which also support attendance. So supporting students when they are being safe. That's a picture in the middle, the character trait of the month. And our counselors, they are the people who kind of head that on, and we do a clap out, kind of like the picture we saw with the bottom left is a picture of a clap out. So they're holding their award and the entire school is clapping, kind of like a red carpet, right? They're just going down. And then we also have golden awards. We do a golden spatula each week, and a class wins a golden spatula per lunch. So we have 3 lunches. So they're kind of like competing against each other. And then the 6th week, so we look and see who's won the golden spatula the most. And then we have a golden party in the cafeteria, 3. So for each lunch period. So that's being safe, respectful, and responsible. And then we also brought on some golden awards in our specials. So the picture that they're holding on the left is a golden book. So that class got the golden book for being safe, respectful, and responsible in the library. We have a golden broom that we give out each week for the cleanest classrooms, and our custodians tell us who they were, like upper and lower.
They're so excited about that whole group.
They worked so hard in that class.
This class also is the recipient of the golden shoe, which you can see at the top of so that's a PE golden award.
We did golden shoe. And this year we brought on, since counselors teach SEL once a month, they got a golden heart pillow to get out for their SEL class. So just making sure that students are celebrated and it's a good place to be does help attendance and academics
It's
too.
fun when we make the announcements on Friday, you can hear the class
gosh,
scream.
they get so
Hear them
excited.
throughout them.
And now the golden award, go to.
Is this staff who are thinking of all these ideas, or where are you guys getting your incentives from?
Well, the golden awards are from PBIS. That's a program. It's not like a program you can buy, but it's a program that we've been, educated in and came out of Eugene, Oregon, actually. back in the
U
day. U of O. Yeah, and then you just adapt it for the needs of the students. And so, yeah,
Our PBIS team committee, we kind of do ideas, what do we need based on the data? And the cafeteria behaviors went way down when we started to get some golden things in there and those golden items. And same with specials too, PE can be hard, it's a little unstructured. And it's different, it's a different environment, so we thought that was important too.
So we look at where like the referrals are coming from, where are the needs, so do you need more recess supervision? And then also what are some positives, we can always look at how we can reward them versus, you know, consequences, like, let's incentivize them to follow the rules, be safe, responsible and respectful in the cafeteria versus like, you know, you have to eat in silence.
And then this lovely gentleman is monitoring for safe bodies on the bus, so he's a bus monitor. To help him have safe body too.
All right, so hopefully you
So
understand
we're
our
gonna
part of the
recap.
strategic plan. And that you know how we're supporting students to successfully have a path beyond graduation and become positive members of our community. And then this is our cute little one of our kindergarten classrooms that went on hike. So thanks for everything. And what questions do you have for us?
You're gonna ask along the way, I feel.
I liked that you did.
Yeah.
I think that was a good thing.
But does anyone else have any other?
No, I mean, my kids have experienced all of these, so I'm loving it, seeing it, I'm smiling each time, so I'm like, yep. See that motion.
Well, thank you for putting all of that together.
Yeah, well done, you guys.
Yeah. But before you leave, we're gonna go to administrative reports. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, things are going well. We had parent teacher conferences last week. Our goal is always to get 100% of our families. And I would say we're anywhere from like, at the very lowest 80, but it's mostly 90 and above.
Great.
And then I always ask like follow-up. And they're reaching out to those families that weren't able to attend. And then.
We just had first grade go to Tillamook.
Oh, yeah.
The highway the ranch, which was
The
really
pumpkin.
cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the Assistance League has been measuring
Yeah.
at our school
Mhm.
the last
Busy,
days.
That's
So the
exciting.
kids, so that's,
They have the vision hearing coming.
yeah.
In November, hearings next week. Yeah. It's exciting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, look, there's a race. Right, Jason, what do you got for us tonight in your cool Indiana Jones outfit?
Yeah, well, in the midst of homecoming, thanks for letting me go first. I gotta get to the field for the powder puff.
Powder puff, yes.
We had our vision screenings for the entire building earlier this week, went super smooth. And got the vast majority of kids, and in the last couple of days have just been pulling them out, the individuals that were either gone or. Sorry for the pun, didn't hear the announcement. Go, very done. Our high school attendance team meeting every 2 weeks, and we put together some data to help us determine where our tier 2 and tier 3 kids are, and how we can support those students. As you were learning earlier about that, the regular attenders and how all that works with the 2 days. Our chronic absenteeism numbers in the high school was close to 200, 2.5 weeks in. Because so many kids missed 2 days in that first kind of time back as kids come in and come and go, and we transition new students in and out. That number down is now less than 100. And so we're able to, at this point, really kind of target those students that we need to and work to remove those barriers. And that's when Thursday's plan this week is to, now that we have students identified, is to work to see what barriers do we need to help them remove those things. One of the kind of the tier 1 level things that we're doing is partnered with Dairy Queen this year, and they're giving us, well, we're going to give every student who achieves 100% attendance for the year a $100 credit at Dairy Queen, and Dairy Queen is going to pay for 5 of those. The most we've ever had is 3. So if we have 5, I figure like we're doing really good. But there's a lot of kids that are really kind of focused on trying to get to that point. We've seen our tardies go down dramatically in the mornings, especially that first period tardies. Typically in the last couple of years, we've had anywhere from 30 to 60 kids come through every morning tardy, and we're barely over a dozen.
Oh, wow.
Except for this week. It's been a little higher, but people are doing homecoming things, and so they're scrambling, getting it a little bit late, but that's unusual for this year, which is fantastic. Our senior research paper is due this Friday, so not only do seniors have homecoming and all the other things going on, but they are freaking out because it's gonna end because of our research paper. But they'll be successful and we have a great support team, so I'm excited to not only get that done for those kids to take a breath, but excited for those kids to go through that stress and know that they can do hard things, which is really important, I think, as we grow. Homecoming concludes this Saturday with our dance here at the high school from 7:30 to 10 p.m. And this next, not this weekend, but the following weekend, OASC, which is the Oregon Association of Student Councils, has their conference here in Seaside. They use our building on Sundays. We'll have about 1,500 kids here in our building, learning different seminars put on by other student leaders. And so that's really exciting. And our ASB director, Haley Warrow, is doing a really good job of promoting our students to get really involved in that. And I'm excited about that. Choir concerts has been changed from next week to November 13th. And that'll be in the cafeteria. And our play, Almost Maine, starts on November 14th, and it'll run that Friday, Saturday, and then the following weekend, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. On the sports front, boys and girls soccer looks like they're gonna make the playoffs. If the football team wins this Friday, the homecoming game, they will make the playoffs. And it looks like we will have at least one individual runner in cross country, most likely on the boys side, and potentially one on the girls side. And that's kind of where we're at. And girls volleyball won a match last weekend. They beat Milwaukee, so that was great. Any questions?
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
Go Powder Puff.
All right, thank you.
Hi.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I have a picture in my office of Powder Puff Week when I was a freshman in high school. That I love to share with the kids. We've been busy in middle school. We came in, it just felt like the summer was like 2 weeks and then we were right back into the middle of everything. Everybody had like that sense of like, we're right back in the thick of it all. You know, so we've been very busy in the middle school. We did have an assembly last week with a gentleman named Christian Page, and he is known in the Pacific Northwest as a keynote speaker, a motivational speaker. He's also an Emmy nominated poet. And he came in and spoke in front of all the middle school kids. They loved him. He came up during lunchtime and kids were asking for his autograph. And then he went down and played basketball with the kids. And then he met with ASB, and he also met with our leadership team, middle school leadership team and counselors and stuff. And he does PD. So that was fun. We have another assembly coming up in early November with Youth Era that works with kiddos. They'll come in and do 3 assemblies at the middle school for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. My son-in-law is actually running that assembly. So we're looking forward to that, and the kids getting exposed to making good, healthy, social, emotional learning choices, like leaving the videos behind and getting outside and playing sports and being active with their bodies, and how that's really important. So that's the message of that one. We have the second of 9 in the series of 9 Hispanic parent nights here tomorrow night from 6 to 7. I'm very excited to be working with Claudia Mendez, who is our trio coordinator right over here in the College and Career Center. She helped put this one together for tomorrow night. We'll begin with a game of Loteria. And then we will have people from Clatsop Community College speak about the GED program, ESL classes that parents and students can take, and also about their MERT program. Because that seems to be something that parents have voiced interest in, is like, what are some of the programs that my child can be involved in at Clatsop Community College? So we have that coming up. We're ending our sports season this week. Of course, football, cross country had a meet today. Today was their last meet, and volleyball. And then we're starting next week with girls wrestling. So really excited to have that sort of as a new component, and boys basketball. We have our Spirit Week next week, for our kiddos with, pajama day on Monday, all, different days, next week. Ending the week with, different tournaments and also where the kids get to choose whether they go to the cafeteria to dance or to watch a movie, the gym to dance, or go play a game of Kahoots in the classrooms. So, they're looking forward to all of those things and having fun at Seaside Middle School. Any questions about what we're doing?
Thank you. Okay. Cannon Beach Academy. Mary Ellen, come on up.
I shared my 24-25 annual report with you all, and I thought I would give you an update on our school year so far. So the 25-26. So we've got 6 staff this year, 3 full-time certified, 1 part-time certified, and 2 part-time classified. We have 34 total students, 14 in our K-1-2 blended class and 20 in our 3-4-5 blended. Out of district students of our 34, we have 15% from Nehalem to Warrenton, 26% from Cannon Beach, and 59 from Seaside. 27% of those 34 students are new to our school. 44% have attended since kindergarten, and 75% of our 5th graders have attended every single year. We've got 1 ELD student. I'm working with 9 students in intervention, reading, writing, and math. We have 4 after-school clubs. Monday is our Eco Kids, which is garden club. It's in its 2nd year. We have 23 kids that are attending that. Running club is in its 4th year, 22 kids attend, and art club in its 3rd year, 18 kids. And brand new this year, we have chess club with 17 kids. And then this is our latest project, a garden, school garden that we started. Here's some recent pictures as of today. We've got a worm bin and a butterfly sanctuary. And it's a highlight. The city of Cannon Beach did some replaced a water line through our campus, well, next to our campus. And so they had to tear out a bunch of trees and shrubs. And so it's a blank canvas that they've given us the opportunity to use as an outdoor learning environment. And so we've got a couple plans of what we're planning to do with that space. Right now, the kids are creating little animal and bug habitats. And so we're planning on planting some native shrubs and plants and having a path through there and some wood pieces that they can use for seating and do some extended outside learning with our new acquired loan to us property. So that'll be very fun. And that's what I have.
All right, thank you. Union reports. Brett, are you up first?
Hey guys, how's it going? We just got done with our conferences, so it's always kind of a marathon because we're up kind of later and at school at weird times. What are we still doing here at 7 o'clock? But the teachers much appreciated. We think it's like one of the most useful things that we do in terms of parent communication and like administration for PRE talked about. We had really high turnout, which is awesome. Me, on the other hand, I got to hang out and just chat because I don't get a lot, but I got 4 this year. So it's really cool because they started opening up slots for specialists to have conferences. And it's really cool that some parents are reaching out and coming to us, which is great. there's a little bit of added stress with the teachers this year in terms of what's going on with the federal government. And so we appreciate transparency and communication. Whenever you guys get information on budget cuts or anything like that, you know, let us know, because it does add to our stress level and we don't want our teachers stressed out, so. And also lastly, I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop on the progression of SEA, because we've kind of had a turnover in terms of retirement, because it used to be like Chuck Albright, John Meyer, they were kind of fighting the good fight and leading the way for us, and now they are retired. And so now we have kind of a new school kind of SEA leadership going on. Myself, Jane Crater, and Becky Sable, we're kind of doing a rotation in terms of president, which is great because I'm just learning every year something new, or lots of new stuff. And so we have really gotten good at letting our members know that if there's anything going on related to their job, that they should come talk to us, and it's happening. And so SEA leadership is really kind of like the barometer of what's going on with teachers. And so in case you guys really want to know how teachers are feeling or what's happening, really just reach out to the SEA leadership team. There's a lot of us. I'm sure you guys know who we are, hopefully. And you can just simply email us or whatnot. Because on a daily basis, I have teachers come to me and just kind of say, hey, this is going on with me. And, you know, my main job is to give counsel on contractual issues, but really, I really see my secondary job is to be support for them. And I've really found the past couple of years being in this leadership team that I really am kind of we are the SEA leadership team is really kind of the go-between teachers and admin sometimes. And so I am talking with admin and I'm talking with teachers and really just putting out a lot of fires. So I'm really helping out the district altogether. And so I just want you guys to understand that SEA is really here to make sure that bridge is there and that communication is open. And so hopefully that we continue strong with that and that we continue this open relationship with the district and the union.
That's great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. SEA Megan.
Hello. Just a few things from the classified staff. We wanted to just say that hopefully with our new payroll specialist, things will kind of simmer down. And we'll be able to see some correct pay and our leaves being reflected accordingly. That's kind of been an ongoing issue we've had for a while now, and so hopefully this is the solution to that.
Can you explain that? I don't understand the problem.
We've had lots of problems with incorrect pay or incorrect leave balances. So right now we have staff who are putting in for doctor's appointments and they still show having no leave. So then they have to submit it, write a note into it, email HR, email payroll, email their supervisor and say, hey, I need this leave. I should have time. I should have time accrued. Can you just?
The application issue.
It's all been corrected.
Okay.
Okay, well, and
Are you hearing that it's all been corrected?
no.
Okay.
I talked to a staff person today who still does not have their leave, so,
Got it.
I would love a list.
yeah, okay. I will reach out to them tomorrow. We have our new employee orientation and our yearly staff meeting tomorrow, so I will find out who's got what.
Thank you.
That being said, we met with Susan and Brian today and received a proposal for bargaining. The bargaining team will review it and kind of see where we're at. In that sense, hopefully we will conclude negotiations soon. It's been a process. And then that's kind of all that's been going on with classified staff. It's been quiet on our front for the most part. But I would like to just point one thing out. from the, PRE, progress report. It was stated and agreed upon, that all personnel are important in the success of a student, not just the teachers. And so, we would just like that to be, reminded, that, we are also just as important in that success. So, don't forget about us.
We know that.
The negotiations, I thought we were like in mediation, is this, or is this, we're still directly talking?
We're still, yeah, we're still.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Still working on it.
Good. Okay.
All right, thanks, Megan.
You're welcome.
Okay, public comment. Do we have an, oh, okay, before you go, hold on one second. Yep.
I know how this works here.
Yeah, hang tight. The meeting will now be open to receive public comment. We value the time and initiative members of the public take to share their thoughts with the board. The board's role during public comment is not to immediately respond, but to listen. If follow-up is necessary, we'll direct our superintendent to do so. Remember that we are all role models for our students. Please share your thoughts respectfully. Should any public comment include complaints regarding a personally identifiable staff member, board chair will direct the speaker to the proper administrative process found in board policy KL public complaints. Speakers will have 3 minutes to express their thoughts. Thank you. If you could state your name and who you represent or where you're from, that'd be great.
Sure. So my name is Sarah Wofford. I am the state president of Oregon School Employees Association, and I came here today to support Seaside. I represent 27,000 classified educators across the state of Oregon and every county. And what I want to say is, you guys have a magnificent team here of educators. It's not teachers and it's not classified. These are educated professionals every time they walk into the classroom. They're the ones talking to your students. They're the ones making sure that lunch is made. They're the ones making sure that breakfast is made. And if you're asking them to pass another levy in 2026, 75% of them live in the school district. If a levy is 52 cents an hour, let's say per 1,000, how much is that when you get a 90-cent raise? Not much. And you're asking them to pass it. Please remember that you're asking people to actually tax themselves and you're not paying them enough. Educators need to be paid correctly from everyone. And classified are no different than certified. And I will say I've been working on Work Shouldn't Hurt since 2011. That's 15 years of my life. A lot of work has gone into it. It is important. It needs to be included. And it is not a pebble that will bargain away. Work Shouldn't Hurt affects everybody, every teacher, every student, every home life. We got to figure it out. And we have to work together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Anyone on in the chat?
May I make a comment?
You may, yes, just come up and state your name. So we know who you are.
Tacoma, most of you know who I am. It's striking me tonight that I love that all of you care so much, right, about our district. You care so much about the students. But I'm hearing a lot of questions about numbers and I'm not hearing much about the people. I think as a mom, it's breaking my heart to see what's going on with our classified staff. This whole negotiation situation that y'all have. And I know it's probably a lot more difficult than I would even understand. But I would encourage you all to go back to the heart, because at the heart of everything, you guys are people, they're all people, we're people, our kids are all people. And we cannot lose sight of the people that are in our district, that are in our neighborhoods. And that they're here to serve and that you guys are here to serve, because these people voted you guys on. So you owe them that. They're your constituents. If you have questions, please, as school board members, approach parents. Ask them why their kids aren't in school. You know, find out what's going on. Hey, why did my constituents choose another option instead of public school? I know as a mom,
one of the years that I chose to homeschool, it was because our family wasn't being served well by this school district. And we're back now because this is where my kids want to be. But I think there's a lot of room for improvement in making sure that all children are welcome here. My son Brighton's here tonight. And there's been days here at this very school that he has not felt welcomed. And that breaks my heart. Because my son is a very good kid and he's very respectful. And this school has never had an issue with him. But I think that every child here deserves to feel safe and welcome. And I echo what Julie said when she said, if they're all excited to be here and we give them a safe space, they want to come. And as a mom, that makes getting them to school so much easier. So I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you guys tonight. Thank you for being there for our kids. I really appreciate you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Kyle, anybody online? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, consent agenda. Did anyone have a chance to review the consent agenda? No. Okay, so we just need a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda as shown.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Action items. Here now we are on to the local option levy. Speaking about.
Yes, the local option levy. Yes, we talked at the last board meeting about the local option levy. The local option levy has been part of the Seaside School District for over 30 years. So the difference, just real quickly, the difference between a local option levy and a bond. Okay, local option levy funds daily operations. A bond funds long-term capital construction projects. Those funds cannot be mixed. A local option levy needs to be renewed every 5 years and must be renewed by our community and must be on the ballot. So we are at that point where it will be on the ballot in May. One thing that is really important for the community to know is it's not an increase, it's a renewal. So that will be really important as we move forward to make sure that that communication is clear for our community. Now, what do we use these funds for? It's approximately $2 million that we get per year for a little over 11 million over those 5 years. We use that funding solely for staffing. And so today we bring to you this resolution, which you see here, which if you approve this resolution, then the next step will be for us to register it with the county, take it to the county, and to add to the May ballot.
Okay. And so we need a motion to.
I move to approve resolution. Sorry, there's a suggested motion in your word book if you're looking for it. Sorry, I think you had it. Hope I don't. Sorry, I did.
You've got it.
Yeah, okay. To approve resolution number 1, authorizing an election measure for a 5-year local option tax for general operations.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution number 1, authorizing an election measure for a 5-year local option tax for general operations. Any questions?
How significant is this to our budget?
You know,
It's a lot.
Yeah.
it funds, approximately, I mean, you know, we can look at, you know, teaching positions, classified position, it funds approximately 14 teaching positions. You know, if you looked at it specifically through, classified positions, it, you know, funds more than that, so. It,
A lot of staffing.
it's a lot of staffing.
What percentage of our yearly revenue would it be?
8% of the operating.
There we go.
We have $48 million.
Yeah.
30 without the fund.
Yeah.
Well done.
Wow, his mouth in there.
I thought you were making a joke.
Oh, I didn't think
It would be
so.
it would be a significant
$2 million.
hardship to the district to
not have
not have
this.
this. It has never not passed, but we never want to take that for granted.
Right, no, we've been very, very well
We've been
supported by the
very
community.
fortunate.
And
The last
I
time
think
we went out for it, it was during COVID and
Yeah.
we weren't able to do any outward
Outreach.
communication outreach. We did all of our outreach, you know, virtually. So,
no, I just think it's very important that we are effectively using every dime that comes in.
Yep.
For the good of the kids, because we're being supported by the community,
Mhm.
for sure.
For sure.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries. That's on the budget committee.
yes,
No.
we did have a budget committee member, for the last year who was appointed. But did not attend any of our meetings, so the board needs to formally, remove this person, due to inactivity.
Okay,
Madam Chair, I move to remove Kimberly Seberg from the Budget Committee due to inactivity.
Second.
motion's been made and seconded to remove Kimberly Seberg from the budget committee due to inactivity. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
So a reminder that we have 2 budget committee positions open and the form is on our website and it's open until the end of this month. If you have anybody who's interested, please direct them to that form.
Order collections and announcements, I'll make this fast. Did everybody get a chance to read the first chapter of the book, Good to Great? Yes.
Sure.
Thumbs up, okay.
No fibbing.
So my main question for you is, after you read the first chapter, was it something you found valuable for your time? Do you want to continue reading? Because I found it great. I feel like I could use this as a school board. We can go from good to great. I feel like I can use it in my personal life. So I would like to continue to read the book, but I wanted to see how you all felt after reading the first chapter.
I accidentally went on.
Oh,
Because-
accidentally went on. Good sign.
Well, I had read that before, because
You've read
it's
it
a
before.
program that we did at the bank, probably 15 years. I
Right.
mean, it's pretty dated. And
Is it?
it's a lot of this is not so much not-for-profit school stuff. So the business cases are more more profitable or so I would find it interesting. There's other better books I would suggest, but
You won't know.
like Bill,
You know,
I would throw that out there. So if we
Well, let's continue on since we have it.
sure, that's
Okay,
fine.
if
Yeah.
you're all find that it was worthy of your, fine, that's really my question from it tonight.
really applies to everything.
Yeah.
Just school board.
It's great, still out for me, I read ahead too. Not. Well, I read all the time, so fine, I'll read the book.
Okay.
I would say it took me like 6 months to read that one chapter. So that's bad for me.
Well, I did too, but I read it in one night, but it took me a while to get to it. Okay, well, let's move on to chapter 2 for the next meeting. Okay. Anything else to come before?
Greeter for the next meeting?
Greeter? Anyone want to get her early and be the greeter? November is the next meeting. Just to remind you what month we're in.
Shannon, just under the reflections piece, because I that your comments hit me when you said parents, and I'm a parent, I am too, and so on. And we ask a lot of questions because a lot of this stuff we're not directly involved with as a board. We're not going to get involved directly with all the detail stuff. But we do watch over the funds the taxpayers are putting into this district and looking at results. That's what Jason's point was, I think, earlier. So I think it's, we're in the same page. We're not adversaries. We're on the same page. And I'm looking out to make sure that we're doing it as best we can to have the money available to do what we need to do. That's my, so anyway.
It's very well said, yeah.
I guess I'll add one more to that is, some of us are previous educators, some of us are previous classified staff members. And so we absolutely appreciate and know the hard work that goes into everything that you guys do and that every single staff member here, every single person part of this district is important to our kids thriving.
Anything else, Jason?
Yes, we met today with the Strategic and Operational Planning Committee. And one of the big things we talked about today was getting into the Performing Arts Center and the location for that and outreach and the plan, or putting together a strategic plan for that. As part of that, it dovetailed into kind of a larger discussion of what is our 10-year capital improvement plan for the school. We've spent a whole bunch of money. We built a brand new school. Everybody took a big deep breath and high-fived. And now it's time to kind of like regroup and come up with, okay, so where are we going to be in the next 10 years? So what we discussed, and we'll put it out as part of additional conversation with this group, is we do need to do an offsite with the board to kind of sit down and kind of talk through what it is. And what we've asked Susan to help us kind of put together is like, what do we need now? What are those capital improvement plans? What is the maintenance? What is the building structures? What is it based on growth, student needs? What do we know we need right now? What will those needs be in 10 years? And then from there, we can kind of back into, well, what do we need to do on an annual basis to support it? Whether that's additional funds, whether that's the levy piece, whether that's bonds. What is our 2-year, 5-year, 10-year plan to hit all of those strategic milestones? So that'll come out as part of the discussions over the next month. I do want to be very aggressive in having that sit down before the holidays with this group to say like, okay, look, yeah, well, that's what we do. How do we build that? And then we've asked Susan to kind of put together that larger, I think we said before, it doesn't.
We did.
It's on the record right now. We've asked Susan Forrest to help us kind of talk through the like, what will education look like in 10 years? And then how do we put the capital improvement plan in place to support that? What will this district need in 10 years? What will these students need? What will these teachers need in 10 years to be able to do that? So that will be coming up.
So you can work on scheduling like a work session.
A work session at the Waves. Waves is hosting.
Great.
It's not hosting. So it will be a strategic offsite though, of like, look, let's all get together for just a few hours in an afternoon and talk about these things and put something on the whiteboard.
And in addition to what Jason is saying, you know, we have limited space up on this land. And it'll be good during that discussion to, you know, start conversations about how we prioritize the space that we have left. And it'll be good to get, you know, how we plan to get feedback from our community, from our students, from everybody on prioritizing that land development.
Okay, anything else?
Did we get a greeter?
Oh, who are
Yeah.
you?
I'm not there to go.
I'll be the greeter.
Thanks, Jason.
They're-
Yes, we'll remind you. It'll remind
Be
you.
here around 5:30.
5:30. It's easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw it through social media or the newspaper or something. Do we have a science teacher of the year?
Oh, yes, Ms. Kruger.
Yeah, Ms. Kruger.
She won an award.
Oregon Science Teacher of the Year, I believe.
I believe so too. We need to put that on
So-
our next meeting agenda
So-
to recognize her.
That we need to recognize.
Absolutely.
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 Tomorrow, say we
Where's
go.
Indiana
Glad I picked
Jones?
that up.
High school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Thank
Make
you.
sure to
Yes.
recognize
It's a
her.
big
That's
deal.
awesome. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
She is great.
All
Obviously.
right.
Okay, thanks everyone for coming and next meeting is November
18th.
18th. We'll see you all then. Meeting adjourned.
You.